Hello, welcome to Cull the Weak Card Talk. I'm Robner89.
I'm Shaka. Today we're looking at a rare artifact with an amber pip called the Ulfberht device. It's an item. Each player cannot choose the same active house they chose on their previous turn. This is one of those game warping effects where it's unclear how it's going to affect the game. When are you calling the same house? Because whenever we have an effect like this, we can look at what is it preventing me from doing. When do you call the same house over and over? I think in the middle or end of the game, when I'm trying to really press advantage and exploit what I've developed on the board, I'll be in the same house over and over to reap or fight and prevent you from getting back in the game. I'm activating my powerful artifacts over and over. I'm trying to repeatedly get a stop. Let's say I'm going back to shadows again and again because I can stop you and gain a little bit, just trying to crawl over the finish line. The Ulfberht device messes that up and makes me keep playing more cards from hand rather than using what's on the board. And we noted in an earlier episode, Starlines has pretty good board control. So if I Ulfberht you and blow up your board, that is an interesting interplay because you weren't going to be able to use the board anyway, at least not for a little bit. In that sense, I could save the board wipe for when you finally get around to being able to use the board again based on Ulfberht. I wipe the board one turn later and potentially blow up more stuff. Like one way to counter a board wipe is to stay in the same house over and over until you play your board wipe, and then I unload with a bunch of new stuff. This card prevents you from doing that.
Yeah, it forces you into those other houses, putting out those other creatures that you've got in your hand, and then you can hit them with the board wipe. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I thought of when I saw this card. What kind of things did you notice?
So the beginning of the game, when you don't have very much established and you're trying to set up a board, get your engine going, this is probably not going to matter too much because you probably want to keep going into different houses anyways. As we see the game progress, it will become more and more disruptive to hopefully only your opponent's plan. This is global, so you're going to have to be careful and consider if you want to play this with your particular deck in your particular matchup. There's a lot of like Worlds Collide decks anyways that want to keep going Star Alliance because you have so many house interplay effects that you can get a lot done with just keep going Star Alliance. Mass Mutation too. And we've seen a continuation of that trend, the house interplay trend in Star Alliance in this set. So that makes me think that the Ulfberht device might be not great in certain decks. It might be a discard in certain decks because you want to keep going Star Alliance and get that efficiency.
On the other hand, though, if you have, let's say, Logos and Star Alliance, and those cards are getting you a lot of efficiency, I think the Ulfberht device boosts efficiency because it forces you to go back to your hand. And if I'm phase shifting or playing a card like Together, which is a Star Alliance card that does the same thing as phase shift, it's slightly different, then you're able to bounce between those two houses and still get a lot of things done. And if you're getting win conditions based on what's going on in your hand, like Data Forge with a lot of cards or some kind of final analysis, draw a lot of cards strategy, then the Ulfberht device will prevent your opponent from exploiting the board to just try to get to 3 keys before you reach your combo. So I think in decks with high efficiency, this card could be used to your advantage.
Yeah, just keep alternating between Star Alliance and Logos. You could see that moving you along through your deck.
Right. One other thing I thought of was, once this card is on the field, you know where your opponent's going to go next. Or at least you have a better idea of it.
You know where they're not going to go.
Right. Because they're locked out of a certain house, maybe you don't prioritize destroying creatures in that house. You know they're not going to activate it. So you focus on another house and try to deal with that.
Yeah.
I just thought of like Rescuing Grunts and Tesmal. If your opponent has that, you got to be really careful with this card.
Yeah.
Because they could try to set up a situation where you're locked out of 2 houses every turn.
Right. Your opponent could get a total lockout if they have the right cards.
I'm looking forward to seeing in a high-level matchup the Ulfberht device versus Snags Mirror.
Yeah, that's the obvious corollary that we have not mentioned yet, Snags Mirror. That would make for a very interesting matchup.
Man, this gets pretty complicated.
I want to see that game. It's going to get very difficult to plan out turns very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some pretty long turns as people figure out how the interplay between the Ulfberht device and Snags mirror.
Ooh, yeah. I want to see that game. I don't think I want to play that game.
Yeah. I would like to play it, and I think it sounds fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. It would be fun. All right, well, that's been the Ulfberht device. Come back tomorrow for another look at another card.